have been waiting on this all day. Welcome, welcome. We have voice acting with the pros going down tonight. So the way this is going to work is they're going to come out, they're going to introduce themselves. I'm going to ask them 30 minutes worth of questions. And then after that, you guys are going to ask them another 30 minutes worth of questions. And so when we go through that, it's going to be single file line, one at a time, one question, but it's going to be so much fun. So are we ready? All righty, so let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to all of our pros. Come on, guys. Woo, here we go.
Wow, the script wasn't planned this way, but look at that. That worked very well.
These are some bright lights.
Yes.
This will wake you up.
We're back in,
after
we're
a
back
long
in Hollywood.
convention day.
All right, so we can go down the line. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Okay, hi, hello. I am Jessie Flower, aka Michaela Jill Murphy. Michaela Jill Murphy is my birth name. Jessie Flower is the name I gave myself when I was 6. I'm probably known for voicing Toph in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Along with a bunch of other little fun voices in World of Final Fantasy, Meet the Robinsons, Kronk's New Groove, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's me.
Hello, I'm Hayden Davio. I'm probably best known for Priestess in Goblin Slayer, Reno Tennoji in I speak words for a living. Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club. It's a title. Also, Helpful Fox Senko-san is Yasuko Koenji, and a bunch of other anime.
Hi. Oh.
No.
Don't hold your applause.
Hi, I'm Alejandro Saab. I'm not supposed to be up here, though. I just found my way on stage, and they let me.
Woo! Alejandro Saab, I love that! Yeah!
I'm actually Kellen Goff. I voiced Freddy in Five Nights at Freddy. I voice Icky Overhaul Man in My Hero. I voice Stinky Diavolo in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Fiddlesticks in League of Legends.
Whoa.
and hi, Zach.
Is it my turn? Okay. Hi, my name is Zach Aguilar. I voice Tanjiro in Demon Slayer, Ether in Genshin Impact, Byleth in Fire Emblem Three Houses and Super Smash Brothers, Genos in One Punch Man, and I've also done voices in Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, and I also play young Nier in Nier Replicant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This panel is sponsored by Loot Crate. Yeah. Yeah. Click this link to get your discount now.
10% off. Link in the description.
Some assembly required.
Hi, I'm Fred Tatasciore. It's just so nice that I could finally just be at a place where I can do my normal voice. I
play Hulk and Soldier 76 and Arg and Lieutenant Shax from Star Trek Lower Decks, and I said Arg from Troll Hunters, and a bunch of different characters, Family Guy, a lot of different fun stuff. Nice to be here.
It's amazing.
Well, welcome, guys. We'll go ahead and dive right in. So obviously you guys could have done literally anything in the world, been any kind of actor. So what motivates you to pursue voice acting?
We don't need to go down the
Boredom?
line, so if anybody wants to...
Boredom?
If anybody wants to go first, we don't have to go...
What motivates us to do voice acting?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you could have done anything. But
No,
you're like, you
I
know what? Voice acting.
I have no other workable
With that
skills.
face?
It's kind of a wasted youth. It's it's like just the art form of it. And I love acting, and this is just you get to be a shapeshifter. You can be just about anything within reason, and it's great music to play. It's an art form that I think we all share this. We just keep learning, and you get more and more, hopefully, adept at it. But is this for pros? Is that what this is? The professional? I wasn't a professional. No, but that it really the art and the love of it definitely keeps it going. Yeah.
No, I'd say it's to bounce off of that, kind of getting to be a bit of a chameleon. I grew up doing like musical theater and a lot of show choir and theater, which I love, but doing voiceover gives me the opportunity to kind of do almost anything, and it feels a lot more freeing. I don't have to worry about how much makeup I have on for the day or like what shirt I'm wearing. It's like, cool, I can still be a magical girl or a school idol or a little monster that's hanging out in your closet. I can do pretty much anything. It's sort of very freeing, especially being so imaginative, and it's just kind of like a playground, and I love it so much.
Yeah, it makes me the least anxious. So when I was, 7 years old and I was freaked out standing in front of like 3 people behind a table in an audition room with their camera staring at me, and I was like, so I'm not getting anything from you, you must hate me. But if I'm in a booth, I was like, hey, it's just me and the microphone. Nobody's even paying attention to me, even though they were just behind a screen. It was the same exact setup, but it felt much safer. So for me, I actually got kind of more into it because I was less anxious. So I was able to actually perform well and actually be a good actress because I wasn't having like a panic attack in the audition room. So that's kind of why it worked for me.
Yeah.
You say it.
No, you.
No, you say
No,
it.
you say
You
it.
say it.
No, you.
You
You're
say
both
it.
pretty.
Okay.
Do it at the same time.
I
Save it for dinner.
Okay, I'll say it. 1, 2, 3. Boredom.
I just really like Naruto.
What was yours?
I just really liked Naruto.
Oh, yeah, me too.
That was why
That's
I
right.
became a voice actor.
You mean Boruto's dad?
Yeah. Yeah. Who is Boruto's great grandfather?
Right.
Is that in the manga? No, it's not out yet.
Great-grandfather is
Shikamaru?
grandfather.
Shikamaru?
I don't know. That's the
Probably.
first thing that came to mind.
No.
Looking it up. People
Yeah.
are looking it up now.
Someone Google it.
I saw Colonel Sanders out there. What?
Colonel Sanders?
No.
Okay.
No, there's a guy
what are you
dressed as
doing
Colonel
out in
Sanders. It was
Kentucky?
really great.
So I have a two-part question. So briefly, how did you find your first opportunity? And then what tips do you have for someone else to find their first opportunity?
Zach? Just kidding. Sorry.
Me? Yes. No,
Do it,
actually.
Aguilar.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, me? Okay, my turn. Funny enough, I found a voice acting competition at Anime Expo in 2014. A friend of mine, her name is Erica Lindbeck, pushed me into the line and said, hey, you should do this, it'll be fun. I auditioned, I was shaking, I didn't think anything was gonna happen. I said my script, blacked out, don't remember how it went. It must have been good because 3 weeks later they called me and said, congratulations, you've won our competition. And I got brought in to do additional voices on like a show. And then ever since that moment, I've been working with that studio amongst many other studios. A director from another show that I got in with that same studio called Alden Noah Zero walked me into his agency. And it's just kind of like, that's the story. It's been a big snowball ever since then.
That's great.
Yeah.
So proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Our little booger.
I started speaking, so I guess I'll continue. I was taking a bunch of voiceover classes in Vancouver, Canada, where I'm from. I was gonna go to school for sound design and decided I was gonna continue voice acting, continue acting, because I liked that much more. I liked being on that side of the microphone more. So I was taking a dubbing class in Vancouver, and I got on the audition list for Azure Studios, and I booked the gig and was cast as one of the lead characters in a live-action dub of a really awesome show called Hanako and Anne. And no one's gonna know any of these. I didn't know them, but they're great, and I love them. But I just continued booking with them. I did about 4 different shows with Azure before moving to Vancouver, but Azure was really like my jumping off point, and I kind of fell in love with like live action dubbing. Like there's a certain art form to dubbing real people, and I have such a love for it now. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's great. Dubbing was my start, or a big part of my start. I'd done theater forever. That was my thing, and comedy and improv and music and stuff. But like, one of the jobs, I was doing kung fu movies. Miramax was re-releasing a lot of the old 60s and 70s and 80s kung fu movies because they were going to change. Part of the thing that was great about the kung fu movies was like, the, hey you, You know, like I liked it when it was off. It was kind of fun, but they really tried to match it now perfectly, and they did. It's like a lot of the lip sync was just incredible, and so it's a great place to learn too. Like, you know, how to create like stunts. Like if you're doing animation, it was like all this, because it's harder because you got to really match that mouth. You know, sometimes in anime they don't care as much, and you know, there's different forms of it. Gladiator was a big one for me. That's how far back I go. So you could hear me throughout that movie. You know, you will be fighting for the emperor. Do not turn your back on him. Strength and honor. You know, all this stuff. It was crazy. That was fun. And then my early things were early. You know, Family Guy when it began, and Invader Zim. Those were going back, and it was really. I ended up playing utility. To this day, that's been my thing. Has been like, you know, your Bono, Mark Twain, or a toilet and a cop, you know, like in one episode, you know. So that was kind of those opportunities. A lot of it was just keeping it, throwing it to the wall, you know. And what was the second part of the question? Was how to get an opportunity?
Yeah, so the tips on how they can get their first opportunity.
Wow, that's a hard one. I think, like I say, well, now there's more open to you. You got the YouTubes. No, you got all these things available to you to put your work out. You know, in my day, you had a one-person show, and you worked for penny whistles. No, but like but it was. We had a record. No, we gave that Kaiser what for.
And we were grateful.
We were great back then. I just set myself on fire.
None of this newfangled ticky-talky.
Oh, no, your ticky-talks and your electric things. I don't care for it. No, I do care for it, actually. And so there's a lot of opportunity right now to there's a lot of material out there you can do. Obviously, getting an agent is really important. You know, learning your craft, learning acting is really the core of it, and then getting your voice print, recording yourself and hearing how you sound, how to build a character. But then the opportunities come from, go to those auditions. And just you keep throwing it to the wall. Do not be afraid. Just learn as much as you can. I know this sounds cliche, but it's not. You just keep going. You do competitions, you know, and you become, you do great stuff.
And you get lucky.
And you black out, and you get lucky. No, you
Yes,
do
you
get
do
lucky.
get lucky, yeah.
Everyone gets their shot. It's being ready for the shot. That's the trick, you know?
Yeah.
But definitely getting yourself on tape somehow and getting it to the right people, getting to agencies, seeing who's accepting, you know, because there's enough material out there. People are creating content like crazy, so there's enough for everybody to get rolling on work.
I don't know about you guys, but I think one big thing that helped me starting out was just kind of developing an ear for what sounded good. Because when I first started and I listened back to myself, I was like, oh wow, this sounds like so amazing. But then now I listen back to it and I'm like, that is horrible. I mean,
it's like music, you know, you get better and better. I had the thing of like, I sounded like I worried, unless narration's okay, but you don't want to sound like you're reading. You know, it has to come off the page.
Right.
You know, because one of the great things you have in on-camera acting and theater is you have to get those lines become yours. You've memorized those lines. Oftentimes, especially video games, you're getting them that day. You know, you got to make sense. Like, it's got to sound, you know, authentic to that person. You know, like it's happening. You know.
But yet, to add on to that, did you know what I was going to talk about?
I read your manuscript. No.
But cold reading and improv classes are actually a huge help, not only for your confidence in the audition room and dealing with people, which is helpful, even if you're in a booth, but the improv aspect is huge for ADR. That's where I got started. It was a lot of additional voices for Finding Nemo, for Brother Bear, for live action movies, and like all the kids at the park. And now we're getting on a bus, and now it's lunch, and you have to not say the same line twice, and you can't repeat what the person in front of you just said, so you have to have something else ready to go when you're going in your circle, right? So there's so many different lives in voice acting, which is so nice. There's so much stuff to do in the voice acting world. So one aspect of it and how I got started is the ADR. And thankfully, since I was relaxed and not having a panic attack in the booth, I was able to just be a normal person and work on improv and like my reactions. That's how I got started and like honed my acting. It wasn't so much focused on the voice. It was just focusing on being present and like what would be natural for me to say right now, and like making a new friend in the room, and then being like, okay, we're going to be best friends on this Tuesday lunch hour in this movie, and we're going to talk about how we're going to go swimming afterwards and eat a sandwich. You know, like it's like, you know, you get to be creative in so many different ways. So that's how I got started, and that was just because I was in kind of right place at the right time. I started in commercials when I was younger. They opened up a voice acting department at CESD for kids that was not really existing yet, and I knew how to read and I knew how to take direction, which is also important if you're an adult. But when you're a kid, that's very helpful, and that's like, who, you're 6 years old and you can read the whole script? Okay, great, we'll take you. So that's how that worked. But yeah, for people who are looking to get started, voice acting is acting. Voice acting is improv. It's all of the other kinds of performing arts as well. So if you're like, oh yeah, I'm in this scene study class, but it's not voice acting, but it is. Everything is applicable. You can apply everything to it. So just suck up being anything involved in just performing and just honing who you are as a performer and like a creative, because that will help you in the voiceover booth. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Anybody? We're done?
Say words.
So if you guys have more tips, I mean, I'm sure they'll take them, so I don't want to cut you off.
I started out online as an animator, and what I tended to find was that nowadays it's sort of easier to find your tribe online in like Discord servers and stuff. People who want to do the same thing, and you guys help lift each other up, you know, bit by bit. Yeah, I wouldn't have even gotten the audition for Five Nights at Freddy's if it wasn't through a friend. So making friends is very, very important to this, and you know, talking to people, you get a sense for how people talk, then you can make informed decisions on how your character might react realistically in a situation. You can't do that all by just sitting on your computer. So, you know, just as creepy as it sounds, like watching people, listening to conversations, just, you know, experiencing life is a big part of emulating it,
People
honestly.
watching. Yeah.
Yes, people
Being
watching,
creepy. It's be creepy. That's the tip. Just
Yeah, this is where all the creepy people go if they don't go to state asylum.
And yet you're still in a padded booth
I
in a
was
cell.
very similar.
We're paid to speak in a padded booth.
Yeah.
That's
And
where
if
they
we're
keep
struggling,
us.
we do have to.
Go to your happy place. Yeah.
Which one?
So what tips do you guys have to develop a character's voice? Like, you guys do so many. Like, what advice do you have
Well,
in that aspect?
you mentioned animation, right? You know, like that's I was an animator too, and that kind of led me to doing independent stuff. But one thing that helps, that starts off, especially if is looking. I love to see a picture of the character. I love to see a bio. I love, you know, and you also remember you have directors and writers that are going to help guide you to that too. One character is many things. It's a lot of people. It's not just us. It's like having a stunt person and makeup, hair. Like, characters are drawn. They're animated. Animation is just slow acting. Instead of going, hey, you know. I would say for characters, the basic thing, you know, who are you? Well, what do you want? What drives you? Where are you going? What's the time and place? Our jobs are really funny though, because let's say you're a vampire. You're like, was he born a vampire? Was he always been a vampire? What was he before a vampire? What era? And you start to like try to give yourself a history as to what, especially if it's a known character, you want to know what their past was. Who are they? What's their intelligence level? What really drives them? What do they want? These are all like the who,
Besides
what,
blood.
wheres. What's that?
Besides blood.
Besides blood. It's much more than that. You know, maybe I want a cashew, I don't know. But like, and so you want to know like the different, those are the things of acting, how to build the character. Who are they, what do they want, what do they think about this, what drives them, how do they function in the play, how do they function in the script too? Like, what do they need? What's the joke? Is there a joke? You know, what's the game that's going on? Where do they function? And then you'll have writers that will help you guide to that. And then the voice, For me, I don't know about you guys, but I try to give them like 3 or 4 options if I can. Maybe what's their dialect? Study dialects. That's really helpful, you know. And you know what is the also if you're doing creatures, look at the mouth. You know what realistically comes out of this being. You know, I always like to just look at it and see what he wants to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got other tips? I don't know.
I mean, all of this sounds like a lot, right? I swear, the more you do it, the more it just becomes second nature as you start to look at it. These are just things that your instincts start to answer for you. But these are good questions to ponder, to hone that muscle. For creatures, it is a lot of fun to like, you know the world they're in. Like if you're in The Last of Us, maybe the virus did something to their vocal cords. Maybe they always have acid reflux now, so maybe the water's always rising and their throat needs to sound like, you know, it's something more than just I'm a zombie.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be specific.
Unless they want that. Sometimes they want the, good old-fashioned brains.
They want brains. Yeah, I think a big thing for me is if I am provided a picture, it's like, okay, what would they sound like? And what do they look like they would sound like? And just start just playing and just improving and saying things. And like, how does that feel in my body? Because also a thing about when you're auditioning, you want to audition with a voice that you can sustain for 4+ hours.
Rookie mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like,
I worked on many video games. I know, it's like, how long are you going to sustain that yell or
Tibetan
whatever?
throat singing the whole time.
Yeah, and just like taking what you come up with, like in just like the first steps of like thinking about a voice and creating it and trying to play with it, and then going through the description and just really trying to learn and understand them. And to bounce off of kind of what you were saying is looking at how, if you get a script and you can see the other character's dialogue, looking at how the other characters react to them and how they are perceived in conversation, because that can also help you figure out where they fit in the world. And I find that to be super helpful when I have access to seeing the other character's dialogue.
Yeah, I think that for me, I'm also very much like a gut instinct. What sound comes out of me when I like mentally just kind of become the thing that I see or the description that I see, and then I'm like, great, and how would I like move and sound? And then I like record it and listen to it, maybe make a little tweak. But I don't, all of your fancy questions, sir, if I went through all of those, I tried, but then I got too attached, and there were too many auditions I sent in where I felt exhausted because I felt like I gave them this masterpiece, and then I hear nothing, right? Because that's what we do. It's how it happens. And so I had to start like not doing that until I got something because I would just be like too drained. So then I just stick with the kind of like, okay, I'm inhabiting this, and I'm just like a crazy girl for like 10 seconds, and then I'm like, okay, and then I'm gonna like submit that, goodbye, I gave it some good energy, and now I need some lunch. Like because that's how I survive, like constant, just never hearing anything. Am I doing anything? Is anybody hearing me? I don't know. So I definitely I probably should do that more and just learn to not care as much.
You do what works for you.
Well, I don't know if it's working for me. So see, I don't know.
I know some people who love to just cold read it. They're improv people, and there's some people who I have friends that are dyslexic that have to almost memorize the thing. Everyone's going to have a different approach.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to know. I'm like, okay, I'm crazy for for backstory, but not everybody likes that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but it's helpful. Like I like doing that because I also like writing. So then I start like creating it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, hold on. Where are we going?
Yep.
Now I'm not voice acting him. Now I'm like changing the character. And now so.
Yeah, that actually is a good point. I've done that mistakenly. When I started, I used to I had a teacher that said, you write a whole other play. What are you doing? Yeah, you don't want to you want to stay on point. Like, what is the point of this thing? Or the tone of the piece. Seriously, that is it. Like, how far am I going off this thing? Sadly, you don't always get that. You get a description, right?
Yeah.
And you don't always get the luxury of like reading the entire script, you know. So it's
Rarely, for me anyway.
But that is a good way to start. If you get stuck, don't get bogged down. That's a great idea. Just go. I'm gonna pick a voice.
Yep.
See where it goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Good song.
So you guys all have such incredible range with your voice. How do you protect it?
Constant vocal warm-ups.
Yes.
Show choir and theater like nailed it into me that you always warm up before you do anything at all. 10 minutes minimum. So even before cons in the morning, I'm doing vocal warm-ups like while I'm getting ready and doing my makeup, I'm doing my and all that good stuff. I love throat coat tea. I stand by Ninjom.
Paper cow.
You know,
Nim Jom Pepa Koa.
he's
that's
the
what
one
it
who
is.
popularized
Yep.
that.
It's-
Freddie over there.
It's so funny. My moms
just drink
in
this
Canada
stuff?
had been giving
yeah,
me that
it
since
helps so
I was
much.
like knee high to a grasshopper. And then when I like got into VO, I like
Pain is
walked into
relieved.
Funimation, now Crunchyroll, and it was just on the desk. I was like, oh my god, it's not just a Canadian thing. What? I didn't know that. But a lot of throat coats. I never drink cold water during sessions. It's always like room temperature. Don't do what I do. I'm horribly addicted to coffee. I have coffee almost every session. Don't do what I do. I'm terrible. But I don't know how to stop. But I don't put creamer in it, so I guess I'm kind of better. But it's, don't do it.
Yeah.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah, at least it's not 3 Monster Energies like me. I currently have a problem. All these conventions and then going back home and 8 hours on Monday, 8 hours on Tuesday, trying to cram in every little thing. I did like a game session recently, and I was so tired. It's like I did like 450 battle lines, like where it's like you do one attack and then you do like a really like your strongest one afterwards. And I did that for 450 lines. And I remember when I got to like in the 300s range, I was so tired. I'm like giving it my all, but it's just like, you know, I don't know if I can do it. But luckily, you know, I'm using my diaphragm. I feel like I have good technique. And I did that before I came to this convention. That's why I'm able to talk still, is just using good technique, drinking, you know, a throat coat, of course. Then I mix that with the Nimjong Pepakoi. And then also, lots of vocal warm-ups before I do those sessions. I mean, like singing exercises, singing warm-ups, learning how to sing. Heck, even like just getting a singing teacher for a little bit and just kind of learning
Singing
proper
helps.
technique.
Would recommend.
Yeah, would be amazing. Do that.
And you have to sing in character a lot of the time too in this job. It's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
You have to not only die 100 times. That's hard work. That business of like, medic, now you're on fire. My favorite. You know, it's like, and you got to.
Now you're electrocuted.
Electrocuted.
You know.
In a chair, your guy falls over and then it hits the gasoline.
Yeah.
That's a very painful death.
It hurt. I'm okay. And then you have these shows that have to proof of life. I'm all right. Yeah.
And then you say, Fred, we have to get that again. You popped.
Oh, I did. That's when the cayenne and the tequila. No. And
I was about to say, why don't you guys just do hard drugs like normal people?
yeah, right. Because that'll make you even more tired.
That's what we need. Welcome to our panel.
Then you explode. What happened to him? He just exploded. I don't know.
I don't know.
Cleaning him off the wall.
He was more gasoline than man. I don't know what happened.
So everything that's been said, it's that
Not everything.
Rest is good. I know there's vocal rest, shutting up. A lot of singers have to do this. I've learned from some opera singers, it's hard to do, but you gotta stop talking sometimes. If you really have a sore throat or if you can, sleep. I know that's impossible, but one thing vocal rest, they say, when you're quiet, you're still engaged in that, you need to have a sleep pattern, like at least 10 hours. That will get you back. Warm-ups and warming down, too.
Yes, cool down.
It's like a
cool
start.
downs.
Yeah, I'll be driving home going, just trying to get myself. It sounds so weird because I do a lot of things where like I want to put my throat back into a place, so it sounds so weird. I'll be like, now you know. I'm trying to reset it. Slippery Elm, there's Throat Coat, Nimjom Pepakoa, which is a great Entertainer's Secrets, Singer's Saving Grace. There's a lot of great teas and products, golden throat.
Golden throat.
That are golden throat.
Yes.
That help you get through, but they don't necessarily solve it.
Right.
They just will get you through the session, especially when you're doing, all of us will do like one day of that, and the next day you have to be, I'm a cute character, or I'm singing, or I'm, Subway, I did a whole bunch of orcs, right? And I just by the end, and the next day I was like, Subway, eat fresh. And they said, do you have allergies? I said, no, I'm doing orcs. And they said, can you do an orc version? I'm like, Subway, eat fresh. Meat's back on the menu. Yeah, and then, that's right, it is. And but, so it's all of those, resting, a lot of water. You mentioned lukewarm, room temperature water. Gargling with salt water, I know it sounds like a wives' tale, it's a real thing, actually helps clear up a lot of stuff. Because you want to, these are like rosining the bow. Think about like if you're playing, speed metal all day, you're going to want to like retune, or just, and just get that throat back.
NASCAR needs a pit stop.
What's that?
NASCAR needs a pit stop.
Oh,
yeah.
there was a period of time where I wanted to be like, this is the throat for that. This is the big guns, Yeah, I know.
Hey, one day.
Yeah, I know.
Cyberpunk
right?
future.
Come on. Yeah, I want, this is the voice I'm, hello, everybody. And I. No, but definitely all of the things is rest and warming up and warming down.
Yeah.
Singing, yeah.
And even past that, advocating for yourself in the session when they might be pushing you farther than you can go, when you can feel yourself breaking. No one will fault you for saying, hey, can we take a break? Or, hey, I would like to call it early. Can we do this next time? I'm not going to give you a product that you're looking for at this state. They will see you as a professional, actually, if you do that. Because what are we but contractors? And contractors know what they can do. It's on the resume. So, and maybe coordinating with your agent or lack thereof if you don't have one. To schedule the softer stuff earlier in the week and the hard stuff on Friday so you can rest over the weekend.
Just remember, tasting blood during your session is not a good thing.
And it happens. 2 hours of
does
yelling,
happen.
2 and 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
It can happen.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're doing hard stuff. I know what you're
Okay,
doing.
so
Yeah,
I
you're
have
doing
2 more questions, and I'll open it up to you guys. So
It's
my
brutal, yeah.
first question is, if all of your characters were in a reality show, what would it be, and what would they be doing
Thunderdome.
Together?
together?
Okay.
Just clarifying.
That's hard.
Oh,
So
gosh.
cute. So cute. I at least like to think so. I think it would be very it would either be really fluffy, non-toxic, because most of my characters that I'll play are pretty chill. Some comments are not so chill. But I think it'd just be very much like everyone in their PJs, just with Coco, having a good time. At least that's what I want for them, because I played some characters who are real sad and could just use some Coco. But I like to think it'd be cute slumber party reality TV with cutaways where they're just saying really nice things about each other, the talking heads are I just think they're so wonderful. That's all I want for them. That's the reality show I want.
Mine would kill each other immediately. All of them Overhaul would see Diavolo, and then they'd start exploding each other in time, and Fiddlesticks would tell everybody their fears, and Sasuke would run away. But then, and then Freddy would, Freddy would throw Bonbon at them or something.
Now that's television.
Which Freddy?
Yeah.
Oh my, I don't know. I think all of my characters would be in they'd all be in school and they'd be helping each other. They'd be helping out random people with their problems because they're all the nicest boys and doing.
So Degrassi.
It's, yeah, they would just be that. They would be baking cinnamon rolls for people and giving them to the people.
Can I have some of those cinnamon rolls for my slumber party?
Yeah. You gotta have that.
Sure, for a low price. I'll give you a good deal.
I feel like mine. Hell, that's closer than I thought. Hello. I feel like mine. I have a repertoire of just very sassy, like 10 to 12-year-old girls with pigtails. That like seems to be all of them. So I feel like it'd be some strange version of like Dance Moms, because they're all like in middle school, but none of them like go to school. So it'd be some strange, and everybody's right and stubborn and has opinions. So like I can only imagine that everyone would clash heads, but in like a competitive, like, you know, you think I'm crazy too, don't you? And like, no, I'm right. And just like, it sounds to me like you're scared. Like, they'd just be like so much, like sassy pre-tween girl madness. Yeah, that's what mine would be.
So would mine. No.
So
I
many
think
sassy preachers.
sassy girls. I would think mine would be like an intervention. You know, like of all these angry people. You know, it's like, oh, why don't things work out for me? You need to get in touch with your anger. That's what it is. You know, no, I don't. I don't need to do anything. You know, it'd be like.
It's just anger management.
Well, it would be anger management, or like, why do things go wrong? You know, because like, you know,
Where
you need
are
to
they
calm
now?
down. You need to calm down. You know. Then there'd be like Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
You see what you're doing right now? You're angry and you're trying to take it out on everybody, and it's not a good sign. You know? You want to milk a goat, bring a bucket. What the hell does that mean? And then he'd be eaten by. I'm sorry, Dr. Phil. You know, be like, that's where it'd go. Thank you.
Those are incredible answers. Oh my God. Okay, so I think I know Fred's answers to this one, but when you're in the booth, are you kind of like stiff or chill, or are we like full blown, like acting like, are we tough? Are we like stomping on the ground, or swinging the sword? Like, what's going on?
It depends on the temperature of the room. For me,
Yes.
I'm very cold right now, so I would be like this in the studio and be like, "Hi, can we make it warmer?" But if it's 75 or above, because yes, I am that person, then yes, I'm pretty much full acting. But you can't make too much noise. Like, you know, the clothing that you wear is also something you need to think about when you're going into the room. Nothing with zippers or snaps or jangles. And even if you're like, oh, there's this like panel of sequins that makes a little crunch sound if you bend a certain way. So you have to wear all just squishy, soft things. And you don't want to move too much, because then you're going out of range of the microphone or wherever you are. So it's a lot of facial and hand stuff, but not close to your body, because you can't hit something. So it's kind of this very, very focused, like, what do you mean? And like your head stays here and like this moves, but your feet don't move and neither does your face. So that's kind of what happens to me. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I'm very much the same. I tend to have like stances, and that's something that I got into. So I was like, it was depending on the character, and I didn't notice, like, okay, if I'm doing like my cleric, my priestess, she was always like this because she has a staff. So I didn't notice until there were like 5 episodes, and I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And I was like, cool, I'm a battle maid, but my hands are like this, like clasped. But it's like, if I'm doing a more active character, it's a lot of like octopus arms happening, where it's like, I'm throwing a punch, but we're just kind of doing this. Yeah. We're just doing a little booth wiggle, is what I call it.
I'm the exact opposite of you. If it's not like 68 or under, I'm like flooding the room with sweat.
I'm the
man.
same. I'm like, it's got to be
Different
cold
strokes.
in that booth, so I can.
Yeah.
Gosh, no.
I run hot.
I wear like sweaters and socks and a hat. I'm like, make me warm. Put me in the Amazon.
This isn't for show. Yeah, pretty much what you said. If it's you know, a lot of wide-eyed, crazy expressions that you wouldn't want to see coming up at you on the street. Yeah, but just trying our best not to hit the mic and peeve off the engineers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an insurance risk. They actually have to adjust it for you. You're not allowed to do it yourself.
That is a $4,000 microphone.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
At least.
Yeah, at
Or
least.
more.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a rookie mistake. Don't touch anything except your script.
For me, I love to like wear a hoodie, turn down the temperature if I can without, you know, freezing the director and the engineer in the other room. I like it nice and cold. And then, funny enough, I've been doing this thing recently that's really helped kind of, just get me loose and ready for a line. Maybe I'll kind of read the line if it's on the shorter side, memorize it. They might be doing some technical thing on their end, like adjusting something or, putting something into place audio-wise. And sometimes I'll just kind of get up, and if I know where my spot is on the microphone, I memorize where, how far I am from the microphone, so it's the same every time. I'll get up, like walk back and forth. I love to just kind of like shift my weight a little bit and stay moving because it keeps me energized. And also, I feel like it's just been giving me a lot more like natural reads. It just, I don't know, making me really, really loose and into the scene in the moment that's happening.
Nice.
Yeah, I know some people who are really good at, they just stay, you always got to stay on mic.
Yep.
But I know some people who are just like golfers. They're just on it no matter what they're doing. I'm like you guys, I move a ton. Yeah. I've knocked over everything, including almost hitting other accidentally. And you look so weird doing it. That's why like great photos of you working look hilarious. You're like, here's your Wikipedia. I find I have to kind of do what I'm doing in the scene, whatever it is. So I have to find some way to, whether we're hitting, it's not a real hit, obviously, but it's like I have to have those motions, but still stay on the mic and beware of my volume. Warn them if I'm going to get loud. But I run hot too. I'm always drenched. I would say, it's a lot. I've knocked over. I had trays of the Nimjom Pepakoa and all that, and I was in a booth and I just knocked over all the liquids in the booth.
Oh no!
And it was so funny because all clientele were there, and I just bowed. Guys from Tokyo, they all applauded. It was like, right? No, but it was really. I'd say I like to try to. We're being invaded. I was trying to do what is happening in the script because it keeps me focused. Weird. How do you guys do this? Even for straight narration, sometimes I have to place the word. I know it sounds weird, but now I'm being here and I'm talking. I almost have to illustrate it in my head.
Yeah.
Or maybe you.
That's what.
You do an upward inflection, then you go down. Sometimes you have to do it.
It's just remember it.
Yeah, it just comes out.
It looks so weird though.
I don't know if my grandpa did this once, but I can't read narration without waggling my fingers around.
and it messes you up for on camera, because you're really animated, all of a sudden. Because it's all your sound. So you're trying to take everything you can to make that sound. They can't see you, so everything has to be that. It's crazy. What's great about theater and film is, you look at an actor and if they're silent, if they're really great, like a Sir Anthony Hopkins, for example, I know what he's thinking. Just by looking at him. We don't have that luxury, and so every sound has to be somehow eked out of you, and whatever it takes, that's it,
That's why some, only on-screen actors might not immediately translate well to what we do. It's really like a side skill. It's like a subset of experience with this whole thing. Conveying the whole meaning only with audio. It's very foreign to some people.
Yeah, and it's like any of the acting crafts, because there's an on-camera craft of how to work with that camera. We're working with a microphone, or finding your light. You're right. There's a bunch of weird subsets.
There's a commercial craft, a theater craft.
It's all based in the same thing. It's just you got to marking up scripts, and it's crazy.
I want to ask some more questions, but I'm going to let you guys do it. So go ahead. You'll see the mic right here in the middle of the aisle, so you guys can make a single file line. Keep in mind you get one question, and then no spoiler questions about any of the shows that they're on, and be nice, okay?
Sounds reasonable.
Spoiler.
Everybody gets up to leave.
Thanks for the panel. Bye.
All right, you guys gave a lot of great information about trying to get your first gig and about what to do once you've gotten a role or, have at least something to shoot for. But what are some things you can do to practice when you don't have a specific role in mind?
Reading.
Read out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, reading out loud. And something that I learned super early on is just picking up anything, whatever you have around you, and just reading it out loud and just building that muscle of just like being able to pick up and read. Because let's say you book the role, you might not get the script beforehand, especially for like anime and video games. You probably won't know what you're going to do. So being able to just pick up copy and read, and getting used to reading out loud, and getting used to hearing your own voice is something I think is totally invaluable. Because if you understand how your voice like sounds when it's recorded, and it instead of how it just sounds like in your head, it's going to make a huge difference and give you like a huge leg up. Understanding your voice tonality is so key.
Your voice print,
Your voice print,
You can be consistent with whatever you're doing.
A fun high octane way to do it is to turn on the TV and turn the volume off and live dub whatever you think they might sound like in that moment. That's fun to play with friends.
It's a great game. Soap operas are so great.
Yes.
You can do, I will destroy you and everything that you do. You will not destroy me. I mean, you can go on.
Because I'm your brother.
I told you to bring the clam chowder. I only want clam chowder.
This is minestrone.
All right, thank you guys.
Don't be afraid to be weird and have fun with it.
That's right.
Thank you so much for all the tips, advice, and information. I've been aspiring to be a voice actor for quite a long time. I'm trying to figure everything out. I do as much research as I can, but the one thing that is always I've struggled with trying to get is demoing, trying to get your own demo out there and trying to get all that stuff. I'm genuinely curious. What are the steps you need to take to get like a demo out there and try to get yourself out there as a voice actor?
I know, really hard. I have a follow-up question. Meaning you already have one and you're trying to figure out how to get it more seen, or the construction of it?
I'm one of those weirdos that likes to get everything prepped before I do it.
Yes.
I haven't even started yet.
Okay, so a combination deal, and I feel like everybody has such a different way that they come to eventually making their own reel or having a reel, whatever. So I'm sure we could each comment something a little bit differently, but I think when recently I'm just like, I need a new reel. I'm like, yes, I can use some of my old stuff. Like if you have stuff that's already pre-recorded, you can share that. But there are lots of different aspects to my voice now that I'm 27 and not 12 that I need to include. Now I can either have something original written for me, or I could write it myself. I ended up majoring in screenwriting. That's kind of helpful. But you can also use snippets from random scenes of shows that obviously don't necessarily say the show name or a character name, but just take lines that, if you're watching the TV with the sound off and you're having fun, and then you find like a line that brings out this different side and tonality of your voice, just record that line, or record a little mini monologue using that, that inspiration. So you are kind of your own creator. I mean, you can of course go find somebody and pay them $1,000 and they can try to make this whole thing for you, and that's fine. But you also are totally capable of doing that. You're like, I want to have this weird, creepy, like miserly old voice in here, and then I want to have like this super excited young girl, and then I want to have like a scream, like whatever. You can just be the own creator to that. And so I would just have fun with it. Your reel is you. Like that's what you have control over. So. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect, so just pick the couple things that are your fave, and honestly, just get it done. Finish the first one and get the heck out, because I'm a perfectionist. I understand. You're like, I want to have every piece. No, just do the thing, get it out there, and then you'll start getting feedback, and then you keep making it better, and you will always be making it better. It's never going to be done,
Yeah, from all that, and it's, from a technical side, you guys might know, when I made a demo, it was many years ago, and it was very different rules back then of like how things were done. But it was like, I think now they like really short reels, don't they? Like 2 minutes?
Minute or under now.
Even
minute or under.
Minute or under.
Decide which one. Now they want you to separate them. So let's say, are you interested in like, I know all of it maybe, but like, are you interested in character voices mainly?
Character acting, video games, cartoons, anime.
Okay, so character. So then you want to do, like they say, a minute or under. It's getting shorter. Find some good copy that's copyright free, or if you can write it, or find it somewhere that you're allowed to put the stuff out there. I've noticed in the old days they didn't care, they just liked to hear the voice. Now they like to hear it as though it sounds in a show. So you might want to, you're going to probably need to sweeten it with music and all that stuff. There are lots of great engineers out there, mixers, who can really help you with that, get you on recorded, and then kind of give it a little sound behind it. I've noticed it's a lot like how the way music is now. Like if you try to get something done, it has to sound like it's going to be on the radio. It used to be, oh, just play it and then see what you want to do with it. Now it's like it has to sound produced, you know. But that's not doesn't have to be expensive. So yeah, pick video games as a little more cinema verite now. I've noticed like there's cartoons, even though I think it's all the same. There's one that's one reel. Your cartoon voice is another. Your commercial's another. Your narration's another. You know, they really like to specify. You know. But yeah, minute or under, and there are lots of people out there, especially you live in a great, I don't know where you live, but like.
Nashville.
You know, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's some people who know about audio there. You know, it's like, and great theater and acting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so yeah, you can get some help on that. It's actually, yeah, it can be done easily.
Yeah, and would highly recommend pursuing commercials. You know, I don't know if that's like a huge thing on your checklist. Maybe you're more into like you want to do video games or like animation stuff, which is very cool. That's kind of like how I started too. And then I kind of went and got a commercial demo. And it's funny because I sent it out to like everybody in town, everybody in LA. And one of my friends gave me a recommendation and I sent it to Pandora Radio. He gave me an email, sent it. I didn't hear anything back from them for literally an entire year. And then they got back to my email and said, hey, we really like this reel. Would you like to, you know, try out some little sample scripts? So we're gonna give you like a medical commercial. We're gonna give you a like Happy Honda Guy. We're gonna give you Target, like all these different like sections of commercials and to see how you do. I did all their samples, they really liked them, and then they brought me on board, and all of a sudden I was doing 3 commercials every single week for them for whatever random thing that they would send me. I will say, I don't know how the industry is currently because a lot of people have been getting, there's so much work everywhere, like animations, video games, everything. But I will say this, if you nail commercials, I think that can make some agents raise their eyebrows and be like, oh, okay, because commercials pay really good money.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Check out also, if you haven't, D. Bradley Baker's website, I Want to Be a Voice Actor. There's a lot of great information.
It's so good, and every time I tell people, it feels like they look at me and they're like, "Are you memeing? Are you joking with me?" No, it's literally called iwannabeavoiceactor.com.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Good question.
Sorry. So I am a voice actress. I started off in radio, and right now I'm working freelance. And my business is really starting to pick up, but I still want to know what steps to take next in order to break into more of the professional field. I'm kind of stuck there. I don't want to keep doing a lot of small end jobs. I want to break more into animation and character development.
Do you have representation?
I do not.
Okay, that will help you. Okay. Just getting it, because it helps you because you're already working. So the fact, like you said, if you're doing commercials or you're doing something like radio, that's huge. You're already like a foot in, you know, and you're doing work. So the idea is like, I would try to get your stuff, see who's accepting, you know, submissions, and just sort of say, hey, I'm out there, I'm doing this, I need some representation. They love it when there's work already involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you mean there's money coming in? Oh, yeah, they love that, you know, as opposed to I'm starting, you know.
I would say nowadays a really great way to get on people's radar once you are absolutely sure you're ready. First impressions are very remembered sometimes. But there are a lot of workshops with agents and directors and actors that are currently working that one thing that came good out of the pandemic, they're all online now. Yeah, well, maybe not all of them, but a good bit of them, and most of them. And yeah, there are plenty of great websites to explore to sort of get feedback from people who are actively working in it. And even if you don't get like that big callback from them, like I'm interested or whatever, you got some valuable information from people who are making the actual decisions. So definitely pursue workshops with people who are currently working.
Okay.
And share with them what you're doing.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah.
And persistence and patience, unfortunately. But yeah, it took a year for Pandora to respond. That's fine. I mean, and then if they didn't respond, you could send it again. Like, it's just kind of a slow but steady, like, ding, 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 hello, I'm here. All right, brushed up a little bit more. I'm still here. And you just kind of keep doing that until you feel a little bit give. And then once you feel that, you're like, haha, look at how amazing I am. Here, let me show up and like do an amazing job. And guess what? I also just added this to my reel. Give it a listen. What do you think? Right? So then you can kind of just do a little star dance of like, yes, good choice for picking me, and like showing interest. Here, look at how great I am. Yes, it's just persistence as well. That's part of it.
Yeah, I know some of the agents, like in LA, I forget what the workshop is, but it's through like Mary Lynn Wisner. There are sometimes they do meet the agent nights with like some of the big agents like A3, CESD, Atlas. I'm with Dean Panero. Like there's so that's something else that you could do. That's more of like to showcase your skill to an agent. And even then, you could meet every single agent in town and they might not be interested in you at that moment in time. Yeah. I've met with a ton of agents and then later on, like, found out, oh, now this agent is interested in me, or so they don't have like this youthful sounding voice on their roster anymore from somebody else. Someone else left their agency. Now they kind of need to fill that void. So maybe there's something in their head that they are specifically looking for, and that could be your moment, or it might not be. But yes, adding on to persistency, adding on to representation, very important.
Treat the no as a not yet, and that will keep you sane.
No, I super agree with that. And to bounce off what you were saying, Zach, is looking at when you're looking at agencies to submit to, listen to if they have their roster available and there's demos on their website. Listen to what's there and ask yourself, it's like, what do I bring that's different from what they already have on their roster? Yeah. Because you want to bring something new to the table, and like there'll be people who sound similar, but it's like listening and be like, okay, do I sound different from what they have? Okay, I can bring them that, and highlight that in like your cover letter and stuff like that. And I found that's helped really in my part. Yeah.
And to think about the opposite, and there are agencies that specialize in certain types of voiceover. So maybe look at who their top clients are there, and average what kind of voiceover these guys are doing. I love my agency, Atlas, because they have a lot of people who do creature work there, and that's sort of what I'm doing. And, CESD might have their things. Dean Panera might have his thing. Just, it's sort of a gut feeling when you feel like you might fit in somewhere. But I would also not be picky either. I would send out feelers and see who would like you. There's no shame in going to a boutique agency before you reach for the stars there,
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Good luck.
Great question.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take 2 more questions, okay?
Oh, no, sorry.
Can I make an announcement,
too
though?
much. Sorry.
If we don't get to you all, just know we are at the, we're down. You have tables free of charge if you want to ask any questions.
Ask away.
We're here for you. So.
Stop by. Yeah,
That's what we're here for.
We are in the dealers hall. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you
I
guys
believe
are on the
dealers,
welcome
doesn't sound
page.
exhibitors, something like that.
Come to the dealers.
I don't know.
Walk
They
of
just
fame.
they take
What
me
is
to
her
my
name?
table blindfolded, and I never know where it is.
So please do ask. We're
Yeah.
happy to answer
Yeah,
any
come
questions.
by and yeah.
Free of charge.
Out of all the characters that you've done throughout all the years of your voice acting, if you could choose one to hang out for an entire day, who would you choose?
Ooh.
I don't think I've ever been asked that one before.
That's a good question.
great
There's
question.
quite a few that I just want to spend the day.
And Fred, why is it Nikolai?
What's that?
I said, Fred, why is it Nikolai?
Because, for the vodka. What is this?
I have a counter question. If we did choose to hang out with someone, would it be how they treated anybody, or would we be their friend? Because if I hung
Knowing
with
some of your
Overhaul, he'd
characters,
probably-
they can't kill you.
In other
So
words, am I pissing off
Well,
Darth
he
Vader?
can't kill you as a low bar. Let's be real.
okay,
if I
no
hung out with-
torture, no physical harm.
What's that?
No torture, no physical harm, because Overhaul and that whole deal he
Yeah,
did.
no, if I hung out with him, he'd think I was, like, dirty. I don't know. Yeah, probably Sasaki. He seems cool.
TBH, I feel like I was one of the 15 baby turtles in Finding Nemo, so I would want to hang out with one of them or all of them because we would just be riding the East Australian Current all day.
And be able to breathe water,
I
right?
want to do
right?
that. Correct.
Breathe
Correct.
underwater. Okay.
Yeah, that as well.
It's a big flaw in the plan there.
Just a little.
I would choose Ether because he doesn't talk much, and sometimes that is nice for me because I'm actually introverted. So I would love to just hang out and have nothing said to me, and just watch a TV show or maybe play a game. Yeah.
Plus, he knows where all the electro-oculists are.
Yes, he is
Yeah.
very helpful when it comes to the Genshin impacts.
The impacts of Genshin. Probably, I was between two. Probably Rena from Love Live, just because she's also super introverted, and I was like, we could just hang out and play video games all day. Girl has a dope gaming system, RGB keyboard, all that good stuff. I was like, I want to hang out with her and just vibe and eat cookies. That's all I want to do.
Oh, this is hard. Yeah, Nikolai would be fun. Soldier 76, I'd love to talk politics with. I think Hulk I would like because I'm just curious. Like he has a full day. He does some interesting stuff. He'd be my friend though. Love to talk to Qui-Gon Jinn, just to learn stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, I believe that is it for tonight. So sorry. Oh, no.
Sorry, we have to be that, guys. Like Doctor Strange, I am a killjoy. I'm sorry. We have to reset the whole room for the cosplay event in the next one, so I am so sorry. But
Come by the table,
sorry,
okay?
guys.
Come
yes,
by the
find
table.
them at the exhibitor hall all weekend. They're going to be available. Let's give it up for our panelists. Thank
You
you.
guys are awesome. Thank you. Really great questions.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for being
Have a good
here.
one, guys.
Enjoy the cosplay.